Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to hop on this webinar, this recorded webinar, to talk about electronic enrollment platforms when it comes to Medicare Advantage prescription drug plans. My name is Justin Ellis. I work in the marketing department here at the brokerage, as well as the Medicare division, product champs for multiple carriers. So again, thank you for coming online. A little information, the lines are muted. We will be looking at questions and following up via email with any questions that you may have. We will have that whole list sent out to any participants that are on this call today. And for people that are future viewing this down the road, again, thank you for joining in, taking the time out of your morning, afternoon, or evening. Let's go ahead and get started. What you see on your screen first is our home webpage. It's thebrokerageinc.com. This is a great resource, a great place to go for information about all the products that the Brokerage Inc. offers. If you notice, if you see across the top, you'll have our tabs. A good place to always find some information about what the Brokerage Inc. represents and what we work with, the products. It would be the products tab. Medicare Home is where I spend the majority of my time, which where you'll find our carrier pages on there. So if you have a question, let's say 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, or 3 in the morning, if you're one of those people that work that early, information will be on there readily available for you at all times. We keep it up to date as possible because we know we're busy. It's a busy time frame. Phones are ringing a lot of chatter. And if you can't get to us, I would suggest highly looking at the Medicare webpage and going to the specific product page to see if that information may be there. It's always a great place to start. So today we're going to get started. We're going to be going over 3 carriers, so just a little agenda for our webinar here. We're going to start off with United Healthcare and going over their lean enrollment tool. Because I'm doing this non-remotely, I'm doing it from a laptop here in the office and not a tablet. I'm going to be showing you that example of going through and doing lean as if I had my laptop sitting next to a client on my mobile hotspot or on my Wi-Fi that I may have, or if you're lucky enough in a client's house who not only has Wi-Fi, but they also know the password. So I'm going to show you that first. And then next we will be showing Enrollment Hub, which is the Humana enrollment platform that newly released. This video has taken place for the 2018-2019 AEP. So as of that time frame, these will be the enrollment platforms that the carriers we're discussing are rolling out. So Enrollment Hub is very similar to Lean, taking an application. Again, I'm doing it via laptop, so it may look a little different on a tablet, an iPad, Android tablet, things like that. But that'll be the second carrier that we're going over. The third carrier we'll be going over will be Aetna and Ascend, which is their enrollment platform. Just like the other 2 previously mentioned, you'll be able to enroll MAPD, PDP, and MA-only products with these enrollment platforms. So without further delay, let's go ahead and get started. Again, first one I'm going to be going over is going to be Lean, which is United Healthcare's version of their enrollment platforms. If you notice, this is the home page. This is where you'll start off. You'll go through here. You can have ideas of how to get provider search, drug search. Pretty much the whole kit and caboodle is right here on their main workbench, on their main front page. If you notice at the top right, if I need to do a Medicare Supplement app, I can click here. It'll redirect me to their page for their supplements. If I need to do an MA PDP app, again, it redirects here. If you happen to be going out into the field and you do not have internet access, Lean does have an offline feature where you can take the application without being connected to the internet. Now, where you have to do some research, and it's always good to maybe have done some work prior to your meeting with the client or being able to search on your cell phone or something that you have connected to internet. Provider search and drug search. If you are offline, there may be some issues that could come into having to connect to the internet, finding a doctor, or checking what the copays will be on medication. So if you are going to be working offline and not connected to the internet, make sure you try to do a little bit of research ahead about doctors, PCPs, the numbers associated to those primary care physicians and any medications that the client may be taking as to copays and what those may be. So just a little word to wise here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. This is how you would start an application if you're with a client sitting. We're going to do a Medicare Advantage plan, MA PDP app. I'm clicking it in the top right corner and get you rolling right into the application. So we're going to start on the first tab. Today we're going to have the pleasure of enrolling Mickey Mouse. So sorry about those notifications. We're going to be enrolling Mickey Mouse. We're going to put Mickey Mouse's new Medicare ID card. So Mr. Mickey Mouse was able to get his new ID card in the mail. They will still be taking the old ones up to a certain time frame next year, starting in 2019. So I'm going to put Mickey Mouse's number in. 46. Mickey Mouse is a male. His hospital was 11-1 in 2013. So we're going to continue. We're going to go ahead and put his address in. This is actually the broker Jinx physical address. Louisville 75057. Denton County. We can sign in for paperless, or we can do everything electronically. We're going to go ahead and leave it this way for now. They have options to put phone numbers in, 469-635-6000. Mickey Mouse's birthday is going to be 11/15/1950. This is the sales initiative part here. This is just United Healthcare wanting to know potentially where this lead might have come from. If you are in a Walmart, if you're doing a retail program, local outreach, this is just information gathering for United Healthcare to know where this client might have come from. This right here, the Authorized Representative, this is if you have like a POA, a power of attorney, things like that. Mickey Mouse is coherent. We're going to do it. Go on. Continue to plan selection. Proposed effective date, we're going to do 1/1. We're going to do AEP. No, no, no. We're going to select Plan 1. It's a $0 premium. It automatically fills that. If you're going through here and you see a different premium than the kit that you may have, especially during the open enrollment, I would suggest taking a quick look to make sure you have 2019 or the next open enrollment year's material and may not be having an old kit that you're working with. So just a little word to the wise there. Election period here. We're going to do AEP. It's open enrollment time frame. We're going to continue. Here's the health questions. We're just going to go, for simplicity, go through this quickly. Continue to physician information. This would be the spot if you're doing this remotely offline, you would have, because you're not connected to the internet, this would be the spot of issue. So because of that, I went ahead and did some research before, and I went ahead and found Mr. Mickey Mouse's primary care physician that he goes and sees. Their current patient. We're continuing on. Oops, just kidding. There we go. I didn't require the correct number identification. Continue to information. This is going to go about how we would be paid. This is disclaimers, making sure that you read this to Mr. Mickey Mouse. This is how Mr. Mickey Mouse would like to be paid. We're going to go ahead and do Social Security. Another disclaimer, they make sure you check this box. If I were to hit continue to signature options without signing this box without checking this box right here, like earlier, you'd see a red box come in the top saying, whoa, 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 you missed something. And honestly, that's a real huge time saver when doing electronic applications versus paper applications. If I didn't check that box and it was an important box and I submitted the application up to the carrier and it happened to be December 7th, the last day of the annual election period, I could have issues for my client, maybe potentially not having insurance starting 1/1. So the good thing about electronic enrollment features is they won't let you go through missing things. Now you can still obviously input error, but missing stuff will not happen. They'll make sure that everything is selected where it needs to be. So recently, United Healthcare and Lean, their enrollment feature, you could only do this application sitting next to your client. You could have a spot for them to sign, and they could only do it that way. There was no other way. Just recently this year in 2018, they've added the feature to sign remotely with an email signature. Now they use a DocuSign, so your client has to be able to access their email, open their email, and go into DocuSign to sign the application. So that's simply right here, sign via email with remote signature. You can send this to them right here, the applicant email. You'll have to give them an access code. We suggest doing something easy, something their number, maybe the last 4 digits of their phone number, something simple where you're not going to have a, oh, hey, I forgot the access code, I wasn't able to do this application. This is a lot. I don't think I'm going to do anything. Make it easy. Make it easy. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Just give them an easy one. The last 4 of their phone number, which they know is always a great place to start off. Or you can have, if you're sitting there right beside your client, you can do sign and lean now. Applicant has viewed and accept statements of understanding. And you can sign right here. Key here, another key thing, make sure the accept button is selected. When you hit accept, you'll see a signature date fill in here. And now the agent goes down. Agent signs, accept. And all left will be here will be to submit the application in the bottom right corner. Mr. Mickey Mouse will be successfully enrolled into United Healthcare Plan 1 Secure Horizon starting in 2019. It's pretty simple, pretty easy enrollment tool. It's been around the block for a long time. They've done a fantastic job of making sure there's not a lot of issues. When there are issues, they do a good job of notifying that there's something wrong with this. Let's make sure we don't do this update. Apple sometimes has a lot of issues when they have any new iOS updates, and there will be snags or things like that where you won't be able to sign. You won't be able to hit accept on signature. So always be aware of that. Always checking the most recent news that you get from United Healthcare, as well as on your workbench. They'll have little messages, notifications saying, beware, don't download iOS 9.03. Wait to do it until they get those kinks fixed, and then it'll update. So that's United Healthcare Lean. Again, it's been around. It's one of the longest standing enrollment platforms. Very smooth feature. Highly, highly suggested. Now we're going to move on to the next one. We'll call this one the newest kid on the block. And by newest kid, I mean less than 3 months out on the block. And I played around in this a lot because it has been so brand new. I have so many fake enrollment applications. Got in trouble for submitting a couple because I wasn't quite sure when it was going to submit. So don't do that. Highly suggest not doing that. But this is called Enrollment Hub. This is Humana's enrollment feature. And like I mentioned, new kid on the block, first day of AEP this year because they're new kid on the block. And like I mentioned with Lean, there was an iOS update around that same time frame, and agents had the issues of not being able to select AEP as the election period. That problem was fixed in 36 hours, so they were pretty responsive. of going through and getting that fixed. So I'm impressed by that. They had a workaround for that window time frame, but honestly, this is a very smooth, for now until we find some things, a smooth process, very easy, very similar in flow when it comes to Lean and United Healthcare, like the flow of the application. If you've ever seen a paper application, when you do electronic, you're like, oh, that looks familiar, because it's basically that, just electronic version. When you first download this, you have to log into your Vantage portal. It'll be right there in the middle under where it says quote and enroll. There will be a tab that says download Enrollment Hub. There's a couple ways to do that. You can get an app for Enrollment Hub, or like I'm doing, because I am in an office and I'm hardwired in, I'm doing it from my computer, so it may look a little different. Like I mentioned earlier, it may look a little different on tablets, but for the concept's going to be very similar. So they have, just like Lean, they have the ability to connect and disconnect. So if I'm out in the field and I do not have wireless, I can always be disconnected. I would highly suggest the guided tour. It will literally take you 40 seconds to go through. It's a 5-point guided tour. It's really important. Excuse me. It's really important if you're disconnected. If you're not on the internet, you have gone into the settings tab and selected the state that you will be listed to sell in. But again, guided tour, 40 seconds, really good, give you a kind of a rundown. One thing I really enjoy about Enrollment Hub is how easy it is to do a scope of appointment when you're with a client. It's got to be the quickest the quickest scope that I have seen, faster than paper, in some cases compliantly filling the information needed out. So you have the appointments tab, and you have the enrollment applications tab. Starting appointments, right here in the top right, add SOA, add scope of appointment. So don't start the timer on me yet. I'm just going to give you kind of a layout. This is just like the enrollment. If you notice up here in the top left, you have a percentage bar. This is going to show you how far or how much left you have on this certain application, or in this case, the scope that you have left before you're completely finished with the scope. These boxes right here, if you see any half-mooned looking spots, that means in that area you're not finished. There's some information missing. Just like Lean, just like Ascend will be coming up, it's not going to let you go through if you don't have something filled in. So that's a really nice thing about electronic features when doing enrollments. Okay, so now you can start the clock. We're going through, these are the disclosures you have to read. We're going to be talking about Medicare Advantage Part C. We're going to do our date of appointment. I'm going to go ahead and do today. The time of appointment, I go ahead and put it 1 minute out, 3:10. Beneficiary first name, Mickey. Last name, Mouse. Phone number is optional. Address line is optional. City, optional. State, optional. Zip code, optional. Medicare number, optional. Re-enter it. Don't have to. It's optional. Phone number, this is the key, 469-635-6000. Method of contact, let's just say it's my book of business. Plans we represented, talked about the HMO. Who's signing? Is a client with me right now to sign, or am I talking to a POA or other legal representative? Mickey Mouse is right beside me. Get down to the signature. Sign. Capture signature. Complete. Scope's done. It has to be the quickest way to take a scope compliantly with the information required that there is. Now, if I wanted to take more time on this scope and I wanted to put more information in, like Mickey Mouse's address, Mickey Mouse's Medicare number, things like that, it would help me in the long run when I get to the application, because it will automatically fill that in. Obviously, it's not required. If you were, say you're doing a paper application for some reason, you had to do a paper application now. Right in the screen now is your scope ID that you can use to put into the paper application. We're going to move on. Mr. Mickey Mouse is excited about the plan. He's blown away at how fast that was. He's like, wow, this is so easy. Can't be true. We're going to go ahead and continue to workbench. There's Mickey Mouse. He's in there. It shows me right now that my scope of appointment is assigned. There's my scope ID already tied to him. I can say, oh, well, wasn't able to close Mickey Mouse with Humana, or hey, you know what? This is a rock star plan. Mickey Mouse is excited. Minnie's up next. Let's enroll. This is a new member. And now we're into the application filling out. Again, Mickey Mouse is 75057, Denton, Texas. We're going to look at 2019. We're going to talk about Medicare, MA, MAPD, PDP. This portion right here, Humana really, for compliant reasons, they have a 6-minute and 40-second video, both PPO and HMO video that they would like for agents to share with their clients that they're enrolling. This is a compliance type video, making sure that the client understands what they're enrolling in, and they've done figures and stats on it, and they feel that in showing this video, the complaints and the compliance points against agents go way down. So if I hit no, it's going to tell me to show the video. If I've showed the video, which is an easy video, again, 6 minutes and 40 seconds, it allows you time to be searching up doctors, maybe doing drug checks to see where they're at while the client is going through this presentation that's going to help you with not getting compliant points against you. I'm going to hit yes. I showed Mr. Mickey Mouse and Miss Minnie. I'm going to put the number in again. This is not a real number, by the way. Well, it might be. I don't believe so. Definitely not with Mickey Mouse. But this is a number we just made up with the new code that's coming in. The new numbers for everybody. 2PV46. Again, Mickey Mouse was going to 11-15-1950. Part is 11-01-2013. Okay, that information, it shows that it's good information. Now I have my plan options available. Mr. Mickey Mouse likes the $0 HMO. Miss Minnie is actually interested in the $15 PPO. So if we needed to, we could scroll down here on the next application and we can enroll Miss Minnie Mouse right here. They have the plan details. If I were to click on this right now, it would pop up into another window, the summary of benefits for that plan. So it's nice, easy to have right in front of you. But we're going to do Mr. Mickey Mouse on the $0 HMO. In the bottom right corner, you're going to see the Enroll tab. We're going to get started. So again, top left, we're already 10% of the way. Oh, it's filling in as it goes in. We're 16% of the way completed with the application. On my left side, you'll see half moons because information has been put in, but it's not completely done. Okay, so we're going to go through. We got to read this information. Do I understand that this is medical and prescription drugs? Yes. I understand this is not a supplement. Yes. Moving along. I'm completing my application because Mr. Mickey Mouse is sitting right beside me. There's his name. Last name Mouse Mickey. He is a male. Just scrolling down, we are AEP. We're doing a 1/1 effective date. My health question, end-stage renal. Street address, 233 West Main Street. Oops. Louisville. Caps lock. Louisville, Denton, Texas, 75057. They have a different mailing address. Optional, not needed. I want to provide emergency contact with Miss Minnie. I can do that right there. English, other formats, optional. Mr. Mickey Mouse is old school. He does not want to receive materials electronically. Preferred method of communication, he loves postal service. Again, just like United Healthcare and Lean, if I click here, this opens up another window where I can search providers. However, if I'm offline, again, do this work ahead of time. Victor, oops, Burgess, 378-447. Established patient. Once enrolled, we will not work. Other health coverage, no. TRICARE, veteran services, no. We on Medicaid coverage, no. We're at 61%. We're filling in things as we go down. We're going to do Social Security deduction. We're going down to licensed information, sales agent information, optional, 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 email, affinity partner selection. This is the key right here. This isn't a big one to make sure. None is the correct way to go if you're working with the brokerage Inc. This is another way that, just like United Healthcare wanted to know where the client was coming from, the exact same thing here. You can just simply put none in here. If you've ever done a Humana paper application, you know probably one of the most difficult parts about their application and just the company in general is the amount of plans and plan numbers, segment numbers, group ID, BSN numbers that they have. With electronic applications, you have no worries when it comes to that. The code is already put in, the group numbers, the BN numbers are already put in, and because we selected in the front, that gave us the other numbers that are assigned to it. Super nice in comparison to having to thumb through their old paper applications and having to put that information in. Humana highly covets working with veterans. It's something that they really, really have a huge focus on is the veteran population and community in general. So they're always going to want to know, is this person a veteran? Are they a spouse of a veteran? Or by chance, did a veteran tell this person, this civilian, how awesome the plan is that he's on to come talk to you? They just want to know if there's some way they can connect the dots to a veteran. Mr. Mickey Mouse is not a veteran. Lead source, optional. Don't need to give them any information. SOA source, okay. This is actually automatically filled in because we did the quickest scope of appointment known to man just earlier in this presentation. It has a scope ID already filled in. We did it through Enrollment Hub, products we discussed. If you're new to the industry, you will see. If you're not new to the industry, you already know. They're not afraid, Humana as a company, to plaster themselves on every commercial, every marketing way there is, and they want to hear how they get their ROI, their return on investment. So they're wanting to hear, by chance, where did you hear about us? Where did you hear about Humana? We just, whatever you put in, more information, obviously the merrier. Where did this application take place? In the home, face-to-face, Starbucks, things like that. Very similar to Lean. Enrollment Hub has it, and like you'll see here in a bit, Ascend has it with Aetna. You could sign it in multiple ways. I can do an electronic signature when I'm going to send the client an email with a link. Mr. Mickey Mouse is not a fan of electronics. That's why we like the Postal Service sending our information. But if he was by chance, or if he was busy still working, I could do electronic signature here. It's going to say email cannot be blank. Oh goodness, where's that at? If you notice on the left side, up here in demographics, there's now a red X because when I was filling it out, I didn't put an email address in for Mr. Mickey Mouse. I would then scroll back up. I would get to that information. Oops. Oh, there's my beautiful family. I'd scroll back up, get to that information right there. It's highlighted red, and I would put Mr. Mickey Mouse's email information in there, and we would be able to send this information over to Mr. Mickey Mouse. He will open up his email. It says your Humana agent sent you this plan. Please verify the information that put in, sign the application, and he'll send it back, and you're off and rolling. Because I'm sitting right here next to Mr. Mickey Mouse, I don't need to do the electronic signature. I can instead click on digital signature. Here's the consents, everything goes along with that. I would go down here, Mr. Mickey Mouse would sign. I would hit capture signature. Notice I am 80% complete. I would hit continue. And then we have these last ones, consent forms, pharmacy consent forms, and member authorization forms. It's kind of up to you or where your client feels at. We just go ahead and go down the row and say no, no, no. And the bottom right would be enroll now, but I don't want to get in trouble again. Submitting Mr. Mickey Mouse multiple times to Humana. It's that simple, very smooth. Again, connected to the internet, logged in. It's a good enrollment feature. Paper is kind of a thing of the past. We're definitely moving on to the electronic enrollments. Now, the last but certainly not least, we're going to go with Ascend. Okay, we are on Ascend now. This is what Ascend, this is Aetna's online enrollment platform. This is their home page. This is their dashboard where you as an agent are probably going to spend a lot of time on here. There's multiple ways you can enroll a client over the phone. You can send them an email. They have the ability to do an email or text the electronic scope of appointment form to your client. Really nice feature that Aetna brings to the table when it comes to collecting a scope of appointment form. Let's say Mr. Mickey Mouse is beside me. Excuse me. Want to enroll him in person, so we're going to enroll Mr. Mickey Mouse. Opens up in a new window, new platform. I always make sure to hit expand, otherwise you have some confusing lines here. So right here, you just maximize or expand it. We're going to look at 2019 information. These Innovation Health, Alina Health, that's what contracts and plans in other parts of the United States. If that's the plan you're looking at to enroll, make sure you're clicking on the designated plan. For me here in Louisville, Texas, the brokerage Jinx home, I'm doing to enroll Aetna, a member in an Aetna Coventry plan. So I'm gonna click on 2019. So here's the information. This is kind of where you start off. I'll put my zip in here. It auto-filled already. We're gonna do 75057, submit. It's going to show the plans as well as the prescription drug plans that are in my area. So I can tab back and forth. If I'm doing a standalone drug plan for my clients, I have the options to do that right here. I'm going to look at an MAPD. I have the ability to send a quote to the client. So I can start right here in the beginning. I can send a quote. I can also send the ability to send quote and enrollment form to my client. Now they will have this in their email. The client will get two separate emails. They'll get an email that has an access code, and then they'll get another email that has a link for them to click on, and it'll open up really similar, probably a little better consumer facing instead of all the white aspects on the outside. But if there was a way that you needed to enroll somebody electronically where they could not be there, this is a great option where you can do this. So we're going to go ahead and enroll Mr. Mickey Mouse because he's sitting right beside me. We're going to go ahead and enroll. If you've ever seen an Aetna or Aetna Coventry application, you're going to see that, like I mentioned on the other ones, it's very, very similar. It's already auto-filling the requested effective date to January 1st because we're in the AEP right now. If I was during non-AEP timeframe, this is my SEP, special enrollment period, options to pick from. There are more that you can go through, so don't worry about that. You'll be able to see those when AEP is not automatically selected. We're going to scroll down. It's auto-filling my information on my computer, but we're going to go ahead and put Mr. Mickey Mouse in. We'll go ahead and keep his email as mine. For this sake, never do that. Always use the client's personal email if they have one. Do not use yours. Address line 233 West Main Street, Louisville, Texas 75057. Separate mailing address, no. Physician, very similar, just like with Lean, United Healthcare, just like Enrollment Hub with Humana. Ascend with Aetna has the same thing where you can click here and open it up to find a physician. Use Victor. Burgess. An existing patient. We're going to continue. Here on to my important health questions. No. Will I have other drug prescription coverage? No. Am I at a long-term care facility? No. On Medicaid? No. Will you or your spouse work? No. Oops. Other languages preferred? English. Continue. Here's where I put this Medicare information. Oops. 11-01-2013. 11-01-2013. How will I like to pay my plan premium? We're going to pay from our Social Security deduction. Continue. This is I'm going over and just reviewing my information. Hit continue. I can complete the review. If I did the scope previously via text message or email, I could put the scope ID number in there. I'm going to say that for time's sake that I went ahead and did a paper scope, so I'm just going to hit yes or type yes in here. This little box right here causes a lot of issues, so make sure you're paying attention to this part. A lot of people will put a number in here and they'll skip right over here to continue. And I get phone calls. I'm having issues with this end. I'm on the agent information. It's because this right here, this box is not checked. We're on the last page now. This is just talking about this plan as a Medicare Advantage plan. The Aetna HMO is the plan you're on. You still have to keep A and B, things like that. Pretty much every carrier has this. I am the person listed on this enrollment form, or this here's the POA type box. And I understand that my submission was basically the same thing as if I'm writing it in pen. I check that box, and then I hit submit enrollment, and I'm finished. If you notice the difference versus Lean versus Enrollment Hub, which is United Healthcare and Humana, versus Ascend, which is Aetna, what did not have to happen? A client signature. That is what this box confirmed right here. So that is Ascend enrollment platform feature shown to you on live demonstration. Again, it's a great platform. It's really good when it comes to enrolling both in person as well. If not in person, you can send the enrollments. We've come a long way in electronic enrollments in general. They're getting better as the day goes on, and you as the agent need to get on board with electronic applications, because your clients, as they're aging in, they're getting more comfortable, they're working longer, they understand and are getting more comfortable with an electronic, and you need to meet them where they are at. Now, is there understanding in times when paper should be used? Absolutely. I would actually venture out to say I'm going to have a paper app with me anytime I go on an appointment, but I'm going to open up using electronic. That's going to be my bet, is using the electronic. It's going to avoid mistakes. It's going to make things easier for you, having to keep up with scope of appointment forms, keep up with important information when it comes to your members, beneficiary ID numbers, their birthdays. All their information will be stored in these platforms, and it makes things easier for you as an agent and not have to be a file keeper. So let me pull up that end again. If you have any questions or anything, please give us a call. If you're watching this recorded video during the slower times, give us a call, play around. Don't do what I did and submit applications on accident. You get a little email from them and a phone call, but play around with it. Don't let the first time that you ever do or you ever go through an application be when you're sitting next to somebody. That's going to be obvious, but play around, enroll your kids, enroll your spouse, enroll Mickey Mouse. You have the information there to fill. If you just pause the screen at any point in time, you can use that information. It's obviously not tied to him. Play around on these, get comfortable with them, because that's where the industry is going. That's where it's headed. So again, thank you very much for spending your time with us today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. You can call us at 469-635-6000 or our 800 number, 1-800-442-4915. And again, my name is Justin Else, the marketing department as well as the Medicare division here at the Brokerage Inc. Thank you so much for paying attention and being with us.